Sunday long run, 2 hours today. I've got the weather's beautiful. It's been raining for the last it feels like 3 or 4 weeks, forever. It's been biblical, so it's nice to come out and it's nice and dry. So today I'm going to just take it easy on my long run. As I say, just 2 hours. I've been doing like 2 heavy workouts each week in my training plan, sort of working on the speed element of it at the moment. And yeah, my legs are starting to get sore. Back in October I got injured because I overdid it on the speed work, so just legs weren't strong enough. So taking it easy today because I had to do a workout yesterday, trying to fit it in with work. Really busy week last week. Anyway, loving it, out with Bruce the dog. As I say, the sun's shining, and I'm then going to go back to the cabin after this and talk to you about the ITRA system, the points you need to get into these races, and some of the qualifying races I've done or maybe you should do. So hopefully that helps out in the future when you're planning your running schedule. Anyway, I'm going to get on my run now. Long run pretty much done. By the time I get home it's probably going to be about 2 hours 10. So I went out with Brucey. He's a bit slow now. He's nearly 10 years old, so he doesn't like going too far. But that went pretty well. Nice and steady. I've really taken it easy today because just really concerned about getting injured. But yeah, you've got to do your long run. That is the main focus of my week, every week. So you don't want to miss that out. So anyway, going to go back and as I said, going to talk about the ITRA, the International Trail Running Association, sort of qualifying points, things like that. So yeah, I'm going to go and get back to the cabin. See you in a bit. Good run that, 2 hours, nice and easy. I went super slow, making sure that I nurse my legs back to recovery. I got injured back in October, November last year. I overdid it on the speed section of my training block. My legs got sore, got a problem with my calf and my knee, and that sort of hampered my whole sort of running for the next sort of 6 to 8 months. So I've been very careful this time through this training block, and I'm sort of in my 3rd week out of, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd week out of 4 weeks, not quite sure. Yeah, and just taking it easy so I don't overdo it. But I did say I'm going to talk about ITRA and qualification points and how to get into some of these races, because it can be a bit of a minefield. So really trying to keep it straightforward and simple. ITRA, it stands for International Trail Running Association. It was started in 2013, and it was a group of people who obviously they saw that trail running and the ultra running was growing as a sport, and they thought it would be a good idea to put together an organisational association which kind of gives it some good security, some good structure. So that's kind of what happened, and they've got a great website. It's if you just look at ITRA on Google, it will pop up, and in there's all sorts of information. But what their main thing what they do is they rate or categorise races. So trail races have now a category from 0 to 6, or clothes sizes, funny enough, extra small to extra large, which is quite amusing, I think. And it's based on distance and elevation. So an extra small, or 0, is under 24k, and a extra large, if I'm right, is over 210k, so a bit of a beast. And they also pop in this elevation, lots of elevation, makes it even harder. And they also put a time of when they expect a good runner to finish it. So the extra large, finishing in about 17 hours. So something like that for me would probably take me about 25 to 30 hours. So they're all rated, these races, right? So if you go on someone's race website, and it's a decent race, they will have ITRA points. Now, what you're trying to do is get these points to qualify so that you can register and qualify for races. So bear that in mind. They also, the ITRA, do a performance index, which is pretty cool, like a ranking. And a runner will basically have a performance index rank. So the elite runners, it's out of 1,000 basically. So an elite runner will have 900 or above points. I'm about 568, just to give you an idea, and a beginner would be under 250 points. And so every time you do a race, it enters it onto your runner file, and it will then calculate your points. How it's calculated, I think it's slightly complicated, but I'm not going to go into that now. But you trust their system, and it's just nice to see where you're going. But I think the point of it is, if you're for elite runners, is once you're elite, classed as elite, you get into obviously a lot more races. So they do this performance index, and it's all listed out on their website, and you can see the different levels there are. Okay, so looking at me as an example, I am I think I'm 548. Just having a look at the website here. Yeah, 500. I am 548 classed as, and they also rank you, which is pretty cool. So you've got a world ranking, European ranking, UK ranking. My UK ranking's 3,349th in the UK. So that's kind of cool. You can see if you're improving or if you're not improving. Hopefully you all are improving. But they also take your 5 best races in the last 3 years as your kind of so if you I go back to the UTMB because I've sort of tried to qualify for that, and they take those races to make sure you've got your points. So you just put in your ITRA, it's like a login, and you type that in, and it will then list automatically your races for UTMB, so they know that you have finished those races and you're not kind of, I guess, trying to cheat. Right, so qualifying for races. Now this is where it gets quite tricky. There's lots of different types of way to enter a race. Obviously there's going from the very beginning, there's like these park runs where you can just register and turn up and it's free. Then you obviously have races where you have to pay. Obviously some of them are quite expensive, but pay as you go, so first come first served kind of basis. So you've got to be on that. As soon as they register, they open up the registration, get on the website and get to that. There's other ones where they have a criteria, so they'll say you should have run a 50-mile race in under 15 hours. If you have, please list that, and you do. But you don't need any points. They're not asking you for points, but they just want to know that you've had the experience. So if you're going to do a 100-miler, they want you to have done a 50-miler in the past. I'd recommend probably doing a few 50 miles before you attempt a 100-miler, to be fair. But so there's all these kind of types of race, and there's also, if you're an elite runner as well, there's ways you can, if you win a race, I guess you automatically get into other races. And there's this thing called in America they call it a golden ticket race. If you want to get into Western states, you automatically get in, because that type of race is very hard. It's so oversubscribed in so little places. So that's kind of qualifying for races. There's lots of different ways of doing it and registering. So taking UTMB as a good example, they want you to have 10 points in 2 races, okay? So 10 points, 2 races. So you've got to pick 2 races every year which give you 10 points. So 5 and 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. Right, so do those 2 races, you get your 10 points, then you register onto their website, then you go into a ballot, okay? And then if you don't get in that ballot the first year, you get a coefficient of 2 the next year. So the chances are you will get in on the second year. But they have changed things on UTMB now, but I'm not going to go too much into that. But that's why you need to look at races. When you're looking at your calendar for the year going forward, you need to start planning that race, how many points that has. So North Downs 100 has 5 points. I'm going to do that one. I mean, let's talk about an example basically. So I'm doing next year the Arc of Attrition, which is 5 points. I'm then going to do the UTMB de Rome, which is a Pyrenees race. That's in July. So that's 6 points. So I've got my 11 points. I can now enter for the ballot of UTMB. However, just make things a little bit confusing. But good for me is UTMB now wants you to do their races. Obviously, there's a commercial aspect to it as well. So if I do UTMB Duran and finish it, I automatically get into UTMB the following year, which is really great. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing it. But this year I actually got into Lavaredo, which is an Italian ultra race. Now that is at the same time as UTMB. So I had to choose one or the other, and I've chosen the UTMB one because that's kind of my main goal, is to run the UTMB in Chamonix in a couple of years' time. Hopefully you're still sticking with this because it is slightly confusing. Then we then talk about another race called the Western States, which is like the sort of pinnacle of the American races. Western States, Leadville, Hard Rock, but Western States is kind of the one to get into, really hard, and you've got to register every year and you get a ticket. So first year 1 ticket, second year 2 tickets, etc. And you've got to get up to about 7 or 8 tickets apparently. So that's 7 to 8 years of entering one of their qualifying races. They have a list on their website, you can have a look. So next year I've got to do a qualifying race, and the 2 ones I've just said don't. So the Arc of Attrition and the UTMB Duran don't. So I'm now going to do, I think in October there's one called Endurance Trail du Templier. I've got to try and get into that. And I think that's quite hard to get into as well because it's a really cool French race. So you've got to get planning. You've got to understand the system, you've got to work the system, and you've got to plan what you want to do going forward. So help with that, pretty straightforward really. I've got a spreadsheet on my laptop, and it doesn't have to be on laptop, just be on your calendar, whatever, but I've got a spreadsheet and I write down all the wish list races I want to do, where they are, the dates of when they are within reason, because obviously the dates will change a little bit every year. And I will then put the registration date down. That is crucial, when you have to register, because you miss that, you can't get into the race. So I've done that. That's my timetable. I know what I'm doing now, planning all my races. So that's working out quite well. The other thing I do, which is really good, is following all the social networks of all the socials for each race, and they'll post stuff on when things are coming live, updates, etc. So that's a really good source of information. Obviously they have all the websites, and you can look through a lot of websites, and some are in French, some are Italian, but generally you get Google Translate on that. So have a good look around there, and then really finally just talk to friends and see what they do, how they do it, how they work the system, because as I said, it can be confusing. You don't want to miss out. Well, look, hopefully that sort of helps you understand a bit more about trail running, ultra running, how you qualify and how you register. Hit the subscribe button, please do, if you're getting value from this. I hope you are. And also, finally, really just sort of want to hear from you guys. Leave some comments in the comments box about, I'd say, what performance index you have, and where are you in there, what ranking are you. It'd be good to hear. So hopefully that's helped out, and see you in a bit.